Welcome back to the Analyst Desk, and that was Gen.G versus DAMWON Gaming. Game number one of the most hyped series of this week. It was a collision between the top contenders in LCK. We are focused on DWG Gaming's span and pick. So they had a huge success on Maokai and also known AD carry champions. So this time around they pulled off Senna and Wukong comp, but they couldn't really pull off a really strong performance because they were losing lane a lot. On the flip side, Gen.G, they are kept sticking to Azir on mid lane. And as we saw in the LCK Mat movie, BDD always puts over a lot of pressure on mid lane on this champion. And also Kalista with Gragas, Ruler and Life were also able to have a lot of priority in lanes. I guess we had a very intense mind game starting from the pick and bans, but Gen.G had a huge lead with this early bot lane turret dive. Rascal made a huge contribution all throughout the season, but that was not really able to be read throughout the game. But this time around, a lot of people can witness that Rascal is doing huge work for his teammates. So with that ward and clearing out the control ward, Rascal had a lot of information of the enemy top laner and jungler. So based on this information, they were going in for a turret dive. And also one of the most important factor in this fight is that Rascal was the only one with TP. He was doing a lot of priority in top laning phase, and based on those advantage he got from the lane, Gen.G was able to kind of spread out their profit all throughout the other side of the map. Because Rascal had his TP up for Teamfight, he was able to go in for that bot lane turret dive. So that was the beginning of the Gen.G's leading the game, and Gen.G didn't stop till the end of the game. Once again, this can look like a replay of what happened earlier. So Clid went for a top lane gank, and they were able to pick up kill on Nuguri. But once again, Nuguri used TP to go back to the lane, so another TP difference happened right here. So that was one of the characteristic performance of Nuguri, focusing really hard for the laning phase. But Rascal, he holded on for a team performance. You can see Rascal's ping going down to the bottom side of the map, kind of telling the teammates that I can join the fight with TP. And he actually did. He picked up a kill on Trundle as well. While Nuguri was farming in the top side, he was getting a lot of items, gold, scaling, but Rascal was the one contributing a lot for the teammates. So that was another example of TP difference really snowballing throughout the game and the whole game result itself. And that was game number one between Gen.G and DWG Gaming, and let's check out the player of the game. It's Rascal on Renekton. People can say that was a TP difference, but I think Rascal is telling us that that was the top difference. DWG, their strength was the top side. Nuguri, Canyon, and Showmaker. Three of them together was the leader of their gameplay, but Rascal was on point today. Rascal was one step earlier than the enemy top laner, and that's how Gen.G accelerated their lead in this game. Rascal had so many control all around the map with that TP usage. And all of those kind of TP difference came off of the laning phase ability. And in the end, he flashed into Corki saying that we have to take him down. So maybe we want to ask Rascal, was that an homage to Cloud Templar, the famous line during his World Championship mic check? But this time around, we have a lot of diversity in terms of POG vote. Means that Gen.G, all 5 players were doing a great job. So let's move on to game number 2, Gen.G versus DAMWON Gaming.
Thank you, Ji-sun, for the wonderful translation once again. 4 out of 12. Not a very...
That's the lowest...
decisive...
Oh no, you can win with...
3? Can you?
Yeah, 3. Right?
Well, there's 12 votes, 5...
Yeah.
You get 3...
3 is the lowest that you can win with.
2...
Right? Wait.
No, there would be a tie for 3.
Yeah, so...
And then win
through the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but you can't outright win. But technically you can.
That's an achievement in itself.
Yeah. 4 out of 12. I mean, those highlights weren't really Rascal highlights. I was kind of confused. Like, yeah, he was more active around the map, but I don't know. Either way, all the guys on Gen.G did have a pretty good game, I'd say, across the board. There wasn't really anyone who was slacking. I think that giving BDD Azir is always a mistake. I don't think that should happen again, especially on blue side.
Well, we'll see what happens here in game number 2 between these two. As will DAMWON tilt? That is that's the big question.
They haven't been down a series yet. They haven't lost a game yet.
Azir banned away first.
They were listening. They just had to wait for the delay of the
Varus, yeah.
of the English stream. They're like, oh, okay. English casters think we should ban Azir.
Set banned away. And Pantheon. This means that we have options to maybe see Aphelios or Ezreal.
I think DAMWON might ban Ezreal. I don't know if they have faith in Ghost winning Ezreal versus anything.
I'm not well, I'm not totally sure what they're thinking should be their game plan here. Ooh. As they ban away the Callista. And now it's going to be potentially a pick your poison, unless Gen.G ban either Ezreal or Aphelios, in which case we could see the opposite come out.
DAMWON showed last time they were more scared of Ezreal than Aphelios, and both will be left available here with no Callista available. There still is Senna.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Well, oh wow. I can't believe we're about to. Yeah, this matchup is very interesting. People might not have seen it a lot. There's an interesting dynamic that goes on here. Now, this is one of the rarer matchups that we have in competitive right now.
True.
Ezreal versus Aphelios.
You know who's great into it? Melee champions.
Yes. Melee champs into Aphelios is definitely what you want to go for, so that when he has this crescendum, he's just able to kill you all at once.
Oh, great.
So it really makes for an excellent showing.
I wrote down Brad on my sheet because we're hoping for Beryl to have a Brad the Chad performance here. He is going to be crucial for trying to shut him down in the laning stage.
So I think a lot of people could be asking here, why not Yuumi with the Ezreal, since it's so bread and butter? And what I'm imagining is maybe they're going to actually try to set up Aphelios for a death. The way that we saw DragonX actually do with the Brad and Ziggs combo that can come out. Showmaker on his Syndra. BDD.
Zoe.
Yeah, BDD locking in the Zoe. And Gen.G with the Lee Sin. That is one of the cursed picks here in LCK. As is Ezreal right now. So
yeah.
If we're just being honest.
Ezreal doesn't have a very high win rate here. It's like 5 and 14 or something like that. I do have it right here. Let me Let me check.
Well, Jace is taken away so that DAMWON won't have access to that.
5 and 13.
Okay, 5 and 13. Pretty. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, just 8 more wins and 50%.
He's almost there.
Yeah.
It's a long season.
And Nautilus is now taken off the table. Gen.G have to decide what their last champion ban is going to be. Now, they have counter pick available to them, so it's not the end of the world. What we're probably going to end up seeing out of Gen.G on the support role could just be Lulu. That would probably be fine.
Yeah.
On
Yumi's
R4.
still available. If they wanted to consider it. Warren gets taken off the board. Lots of beefy boys there. Banned away. Zillion. Bring him back.
There he is.
I'm talking about Aphelios.
Yeah.
Back from the dead if they ever get on top.
Yeah.
Of him. No problem. Make him really fast, too.
Yeah.
That sounds
Really
like
good.
fun. He needs a lot of help. He's pretty weak in the meta right now. It's part of the reason why we don't see him very often.
Well, let's get some melee champions in here so that we can run into Aphelios. Rek'Sai, perfect.
Ooh,
And
Kennen.
Kennen, all right, excellent. 2 champions that are going to try to run headfirst into him. And when he's being protected by Zillion, and when Zoe and Zillion are trying to just throw out lots of poke, it comes down to a war between the Ezreal and the Syndra. So that's still going to be the primary focus. Now, Bard can set up Aphelios for Slicing Maelstrom. That is definitely a combo. And I really like this Nico pick here. This is super underappreciated. Her ultimate ability against Kennen, very, very valuable.
It's not too often we hear LS talking about a great draft pick. So, interesting to see that it does come out here into the Kennen. We haven't seen this matchup in a while. I remember back in the day when people were calling Nico better Kennen.
Yeah.
It's been a while since that time, but we are going to get another look at this matchup.
Oh, and here's the other scary thing. 2 Aphelioses.
True.
That's
How do you know which one to attack?
400 years, you know, between them. So
That's too
not
many
really,
years.
yeah, not really quite sure what's going on there. So
December 11th, 1619.
1819.
No, 400 years. Get it? Because it's, yeah. Duh.
Is that a boomer joke or what? Like... Well, Ezreal, Bard, Syndra, Rek'Sai, and Kennen on the side of DAMWON. And they have a lot of setup to try to get through Aphelios in the later stages, but at the same time, they did draft 2 champions that run headfirst into him. So a little bit scary there. Gen.G taking a very controlled approach to this draft. And Clid, it's going to be hard for him to actually find reliable kick targets. And so that is where one of the weaknesses could actually be if this game goes 2, 3, and 4 items with both teams being on even footing, is Lee Sin is mostly a sitting duck. The other thing is that Nico and Zoe, they're dealing so much magic damage. Zillion as well dealing so much magic damage. Are we going to see the Curse of the Black Cleaver strike again?
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Yeah,
And
I don't think there's any...
because everyone on the side of DAMWON is actually just so squishy. If you go lethality on Lee Sin here. So, gunning for the RQQ or the QRQ combo to just instantly pop someone is probably in Clid's best interest.
You just know he's building a Black Cleaver. It's coming.
미니언들이
not.
It's coming.
생성되었습니다.
Not say that.
You didn't say it, but you can feel it.
My ears are actually, they're ringing right now
Yeah?
from Guy in chat.
You can hear him
Yeah. I
from
can hear
across the internet.
him. He needs the
tuned
extra.
in.
He needs the extra 10% CDR that Black Cleaver offers.
Oh, that's
You know,
true.
he needs the 400 HP to do his combo and then run for the hills.
Yes.
So
he needs to survive the poke damage, I think it is, before the combo comes in. That's what I think.
Glad you understand.
Good to see Astrobard here. That looks like a Chroma. By the way, I don't believe that is the normal Bard skin, or Chroma, I suppose, for that skin.
Well, it is the best skin for Bard. Unfortunately, you know, honestly though, the hot cocos from the Snow Day Bard, that takes the cake and it eats it too. And then it makes another one.
And then drinks the cocoa.
And then, yeah, that's what it does.
And eats the marshmallow on top of it.
You were making me hungry.
I'm really hungry. They were giving out Faker ice creams earlier.
Oh yeah, here at LOL Park.
Yeah, you guys know that Faker and World Cone were working together. And Faker got his face on a bunch of those cones. 3 different flavors. I really wanted to try the apple crumble flavor. I'm a big fan of like apple pie. You know, true American over. But yeah, I'm sure it's delicious. I wanted to try it.
And
We'll have to see.
So okay, at the very start of this game, looks like Canyon is going to try to make his way up here to top lane, clear out a ward. Nuggery is going to try to go for a shove in here onto Rascal. And you can see both junglers haven't really interacted with one another yet all too much as Clit comes over here. He's at full HP, still has both of his refillable potions remaining. He's kiting the camp. He's going to end up getting the Raptors, and now everyone knows what Canyon's route is. They can just hit tab, count the CS, everything's fine. Ghost and Beryl not really achieving a whole lot down here in bottom lane, as the UFO candies have been summoned by Beryl. And the dynamic of this lane is that, interestingly enough, Bard and Ezreal actually get to maintain a lot of control in it, which is not super common. Infernal Dragon being the first one of the game, with the way that everything is, it should go over to DAMWON, just because of the bot and mid prio.
Nuggery gets the stun down, but I think he's dead.
Yeah.
There you go, solo kill. Clit just there, cheering him on. And that is just a straight up solo. We'll have to see how that happens. As Nuggery, he has been known to die very often in the early stages of the game.
And the scary thing here is also he's going AD Kennen, and he picks up a call, and I mean, I don't even know what he's really thinking at this point, because Nico just out-trades Kennen so hard. So if you're ever at a point where you can auto-attack and Nico's there, you're just going to have a really bad time. And Showmaker, I mean, he was doing a really okay job in mid. And you can see he's trying to run back in.
이 라인 불편해야 한다. 탑쪽 킬각 나온다.
I got the solo kill.
딴 데도 웬만하면?
That's it.
And
Kind of felt like an anime fill-in with that laugh.
That was one of the weirdest solo kills that I've seen in the LCK. As Hextech Revolver was completed for Nico. And now anytime Rascal just lands one of the barbs onto Nuggery, he's going to lose 70% of his life. So, very scary situation.
Yeah, it can definitely be pretty rough. I mean, we've seen what the... Okay, he's just going for it, level 6 here, trying to push him out of the lane, but Rascal with TP left available, no jungler up top side. He's going to be totally fine to continue farming. That trade isn't going to mean too much here.
Yep. Rascal doing a pretty good job at never mind, I jinxed it.
You got to do this.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I don't really think about, you know, what's going on there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, across the board, I mean, Showmaker is putting on a bit of a clinic here in mid lane. The Syndra and Zoe dynamic. It's always good to see it piloted correctly. went for the heavy mana end, just relying really on Syndra's base damages in order to carry through some of the control. Darkseal and Sapphire Crystal. Rascal playing super reserved.
It's non-stop pressure from that side. Canyon, he was looking for it. He's coming on in here now. Gonna see his tunnel was down, and it's really up to Clid. But a bunch of pings are going down, so you can see that Clid is coming the long way around, which means that Canyon is going to be able to take this red.
Well,
pretty close.
Yeah, and Canyon just gets to steal it right under his nose. And this is the part of the game where it just feels really bad. You don't have any lanes that you can gank. You can't gank Bard Ezreal, you're trolling, you're out of your mind. You can't actually gank Syndra. If her E is ever up, you can never coordinate that play, and also your Zoe is probably not in a position to help you miss cannon. Better luck next time. And the other thing is that you can't really gank Kennen if he has his Lightning Rush up. So it is such an impossible ask, and when your mid laner is getting shoved in, like not really much to say about it, and also your bottom lane is losing in prio, how do you even contest the dragons or try to get them? This is just a very unfortunate game to be Lee Sin if your opponents are competent.
Yeah. It was second pick, so he showed the Lee Sin, and then immediately, not sure if DAMWON did it on purpose or what, but he made his life very difficult in a lot of the lanes, as you were talking about, in terms of their own picks, which can be a little bit uncommon in the LCK. And they also picked the Rek'Sai into him, which, you know, in a vacuum is not a great matchup for the Lee Sin. As Ruler just gonna casually take a couple of those. Okay, that was a little bit weird, but he's got Unsealed Spellbook. And Clid is actually just gonna move on over and take this Infernal with a bit of the pressure they were putting onto the bottom turret.
Well, ends up getting it. And that is a massive pickup for Gen.G. That realistically it should never happen with what has been happening mid lane, what's been happening bot lane. Canyon, even though he has a CS lead, the areas and the manner in which he's obtaining it and what he's doing isn't as valuable as it could be when you consider that a Lee Sin who has losing mid, losing bot just was able to get the Infernal underneath your nose. And so, if you're a Gen.G fan, you're feeling really good because come second dragon, Aphelios and Zilean should be sort of online, and the pressure that Syndra's exerting over Zoe should also start to dissipate by then, so things are going pretty well for them. The only thing that is still maybe unfortunate in this game is if Cloud comes up third.
We saw that before. Generally not a great feeling for many of the teams, even though Gen.G was still able to win with it. It's about the comparison between the jigs. And yeah, I mean, just still kind of sitting back here. Neither of the junglers has really made a move at ganking. We talked about how it's hard for Lee Sin. But Canyon here, level 7, up a level in the jungle matchup, looking for it himself. Nice stun there onto the Aphelios, but Light is going to take an amazing amount of damage. Has to walk away from that one, give up the control ward.
And, well, Rascal trying to just do a little bit of... Oh,
the Q's
man.
onto him. He's going to flash away, and he's got Nimbus Cloak, but in goes the Lee Sin.
Oh.
They're trying to kill him, and finally they will. But Canyon at least was there last second to pick that one up. And now the flash that was picked up by BDD comes in. Life going to use that TP from his Unsealed Spellbook to come on up and help.
Uses the TP. And at this point, Gen.G, I mean, they're starting to stabilize pretty much. Beryl gonna take a magical journey. He's just messing around with his good old pal Zilean. They've been friends for a while.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they really go way back.
How old is Zilean? Do you know?
Yeah, not really sure about
okay,
that.
well, Nuggery's not going to be living for too much longer, so speaking of age, Canyon going in here looking for a 1v2, might be able to get it with the ultimate, and that he will. Gets away for now. Let's see how Rascal wants to handle this. There's a ward there, actually.
Oh, but Syndra's coming.
Syndra over the wall. Could they potentially bait it? No. Rascal will back away. And so that makes Canyon 2-0, actually, kind of picking up the pieces from some of these fights.
Yeah. And we'll see what he ends up doing.
Oh, they saw him.
Now, Valdez, I'm getting a little bit confused here. Oh, no.
Oh, what? He still might go down. But the fact that he went that far over the wall means that BDD's in a little bit of trouble, but the exhaust is big. Now they're going to set it up for the clean kill here on the BDD, but it does mean that life can just ult him. But in comes Nuggery. Zoe still alive for so long in this one, but finally goes down. As Rascal going to show himself at the last second, gets the big-time root. Do they have the damage, though? No, Rascal's going to be the one that falls. As Nuggery getting so much value in these extended fights alongside of the Syndra.
Yeah, and we come down here into bot lane, and Caitlyn really just...
I think that's Varus, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you sure it's not Ashe?
Well, maybe it's all of them. Maybe we figured it out.
All right, well. I mean, we'll take a look at the replay here. And so, double tunnel going in. BDD following, doesn't use the Proto Belt right away, and thus actually took an enormous amount of damage. So, Zillion ultimate comes out, has the cleanse available, Clid pops barrel, and then says, well, no magical journey here. Had he taken it, actually, Kennen wouldn't get the slicing Maelstrom stun onto him, would have made it out, had a lot of HP, would have been able to re-enter the fight. This is actually where Clid is also sort of trolling in a way, because he's messing with red buff. He could have queued onto Showmaker and killed Showmaker for sure.
Yeah. It was like there was a communication breakdown or something. Like he thought they were going to back away.
Yeah, it looked like he,
you know?
Well, I think he didn't expect DAMWON to keep pressing on, but then also for the follow-up to unfold the way that it did. So at that point, yes, his HP value is very low, but still, while Syndra's stunned, you can make it onto her and definitely do something. So Showmaker really showing up there at that point. DAMWON now, they get the Ocean Dragon for themselves. Now, here's what I was mentioning before. We saw this actually in the LCS recently. I believe it was the TSM game, where when you're surrounded with 4 magical damage teammates, you're building a Black Cleaver. So Rek'Sai right now headed towards that item, rather than just getting Edge of Night. Edge of Night's so valuable against so many of the spells that Gen.G has, and it's the lethality, so it makes your combo to 100 to 0, all the squishies on the enemy team, that much more valuable. And then you just go into Umbral Glaive and you control more vision.
Yeah. Well, that all sounds nice, but the recommended items told me to build Black Cleaver, so that's what they're going to be building here. Nuggery may have baited them in and actually gets Clid immediately. Now he's going to slow down BDD into a really awkward spot, but no damage follow-up here onto him. They're focusing down the Rascal here. Down he will go. It's a little bit confusing, but there he is. The ultimate comes out and says, get the hell out of here, BDD. This is our zone now.
And Syndra is just so scary right now. 5 stacks on the Darksteel. I wouldn't even actually mind just an outright Magi's pickup at this stage of the game. By Showmaker, whenever he would recall next. And Aphelios, I mean, he still has the ability to 200 years, but fortunately Ezreal and Syndra and Bard are in the game. 3 champions that can really keep him at bay and interact with him without letting him try to do the 200 years. So Caitlyn right now, just going to shove out mid lane. True shot barrage.
No, actually, I think that was Varus.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looked like it.
All right, well, I'll believe you. It had the he had the white gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Must have
that's
been
Cosmo.
Ash then.
No, you're forgetting. Yeah.
Sorry, wrong AD carry. I'm new.
Yeah, totally fine.
Clip kind of just went in there and died. It was a little bit awkward. We're seeing the power of Lee Sin in the LCK. Generally, unless you're isolating one member and getting a great kick flash, you're probably not doing much in a 5v5.
Yeah, and I mean, the predicament that both parties are going to find themselves in is, one, Zoe is going to eventually start throwing out bubbles. Things can get a little scary there. But for Gen.G, Syndra's reach is so long, and Aphelios can't interact with it. So the QE out of Syndra is going to be very scary. Nice itemization out of Nuggery. Void Staff second. Opponents were getting magic resist pretty much everywhere. They're never going to get armor. And so, interestingly enough, I'm just going to wait for some of the champions to get panned to on the side of Gen.G.
Yeah.
For their stats.
Try to take a look at that if we can. Shirley comes down, does a big chunk. Where do we go from here? The Dragons were split evenly, but it is going to be Mountain, so should be a decent amount of resistances on both sides that can be taken advantage of.
The thing is that if Gen.G could somehow get those Mountain Drakes, it invalidates Kennen and Rek'Sai a great deal on their hard engage. It also really harms Ezreal from being able to do stuff. And we just see Rascal just trying to wave clear down here. Find something to do. DAMWON, they are up a couple thousand gold right now. Ezreal really trying hard.
Oh, they're going for this. Flash is in. Rascal, good read. Flash is out. And that's about that for that trade. Clid kind of awkwardly coming on over here. We got 30 seconds before this Drake that's going to be the main focus, as I feel like every Drake, every single Mountain, and not just the Mountain Soul, is really going to help out, especially Gen.G because of their item selection so far. And BDD, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at him.
He's freezing right now, it seems.
It's... wow.
Did he just push it?
You know, BDD... oh, did he really just push it? Oh. He only denied like
He
one
almost
wave.
did.
He denied like...
yeah, I can't...
three melee minutes.
I genuinely can't tell.
He's getting close though, right? He was the player last game that built Leandries instead of going straight into Ludens.
True.
Remember?
True.
So there's
maybe
that.
You know, Arnold is... I don't know.
Arnold's listening in. It's like, hey, that LS guy may be onto something.
All right, so here's some of the interesting things here that we can talk about in regards to Rek'Sai, because sometimes this never gets put into perspective. So at full stacks on Black Cleaver, Rek'Sai's getting 15 pen against Nico, 13.2 against Zoe, and 16.3 against Lee Sin. And that's at full stacks. That's the penetration. So most of the lethality items from the first time Rek'Sai would hit the champion is already giving more. So if we're talking about 100 to zeroing the opponent, now don't tell me about 10% CDR. No, you don't get to cast the extra abilities.
They have 10% CDR on the.
But also Rek'Sai's HP is irrelevant in that burst combo, in and of itself. So it's just one of those itemization things that is done on autopilot without really thinking about all the situation. Now, obviously, we could give the armor values of Aphelios and Zilean as well, but it's still going to be in the same ballpark, so no one's really benefiting from the amp. And Rek'Sai's only job in this fight is to tag someone and just burst them down instantaneously, because they're all squishies.
Yeah.
And no one's going to itemize armor.
No one's itemizing armor. The Ezreal is really the only other person that does like a little bit that you could be stacking it up for. He also has magic damage, which we've talked about a lot. So in terms of stacking it up for your team, that argument is also a little bit, well, mostly not there. And Yeah, we have it for Rek'Sai, we have it for Lee Sin. That's the way it's been going since Black Cleaver was an item, I guess. Since people realized that you could build this item.
And we got 3 minutes until another mountain comes up. And DAMWON are just in pretty good control of the game overall. Looks like Banshee's Veil gonna be the cannon build that's gonna be coming up next. And that'll help, obviously, against Zilean and Zoe. Nico as well. And Gen.G, I mean, they're going to have to stand their ground and fight for it. And interestingly, I mean, even just that one Mountain Dragon is so valuable for Ezreal.
Yeah.
Iceborne plus Death Stance, Syndra with the Banshee's Veil helps out quite a lot. As MR is normally not a stat that you get to amplify that much in a game, nor do you really reap the rewards of doing so as much as in a game dynamic like this one where both team compositions are interestingly very mirrored, with DAMWON having the leg up, given that Ezreal gets to outrange some of the opponents, but in the same way, Aphelios also gets to interact against the hard engage from DAMWON very well. So, kind of ditto team compositions.
Doesn't happen very often. Ghost in a really awkward spot, might just get burst down. He tries to get over the wall, as actually the Bard ultimate might save him here. Nope. Spoke too soon. At least they might get Clid. No, actually he's going to stay alive as well with the Zilean. And that's just a couple of quick kills already before this fight even gets started as Clid. Okay, Nuguri trying to get in there. That is a massive ultimate as Rascal tries to help out on the backside. But here's Showmaker with full health, by the way. Finally has the ability to get on in there as Clid is just going to assassinate him, but will pay for it. Showmaker, though, had to flash for that kill. It's now 2-on-3. This fight all over the place. Showmaker still chasing him down. There's the stun. And now Beryl might be in a bit of trouble. Doing a nice amount of damage himself. Actually gets another stun down as TPing in. This is actually Ghost, who once those kills misses the Q and misses the ult. That is not what you're looking for from your Ezreal, as the GLP was also crucial to slow him down and keep him at bay, as a crazy fight was there.
Very explosive team fight all around, which, I mean, it was very neck and neck. And let's take a look at this. So Ghost just dancing around. Clid finds the opening in onto him. Canyon saves him from the second activation of the Q. It didn't matter, he was going to go down anyway, but it does cause Clid to go into the pit and get Zilean ulted, and honestly, Baron, I mean, remember what Cloud Templar said in that skit? That's why you don't touch others' Barons. Okay, Nuguri comes in, 4-man slicing Maelstrom stun. Nico tries to say anything you can do, I can do better, but really, not really. That was a dud. That was a counterfeit, if I've ever seen one. As Clid finally finds the way in onto Nuguri, Showmaker flashes the wall, uses the ultimate, brings him down, and Beryl, it was a full-on retreat here with Bard. Exhaust ended up having to be used, and here we go, Aphelios.
Oh, look at the Lee Sin. Again, Clid is going to lock the two of them down, but it's not quite there. That's a big Bard ultimate, as Syndra's going to get a triple stun.
Oh, Nuguri!
Nuguri trying to get in there. He has Slicing Maelstrom. There it is again! He has pulled it off with another huge flank in the backside, as he is trying to bring it to a game number 3. As with another Mountain Drake, they're going to get so much, but actually, looks like they have their eyes set on the Baron instead.
So they're gonna go over to the Baron, and they are up the one Mountain Dragon. They're gonna try to look to capitalize on this one, and they're already so far ahead in the gold department as well.
This is a little bit dangerous, too.
Yeah,
they could have easily gotten Mountain for free.
Yeah, this is...
Now they're trying to get BDD, though. He is going to be taken out. Okay. They still have at least 2 somehow, but they got to get Clid out of here, as a nice Scout of the Week will come in. As Clid is going to go down, the Rek'Sai follows up there. Rascal desperate to try to get a kill. But actually, Canyon is on the chase now. He's going to flash in and pick up a double so casually. Has 3 more kills on top of the Baron. Not bad.
Yeah, and I really think that's all that she wrote here in this game. It's a 7,000 gold advantage now. If we take a look at how this team fight transpires, Lee Sin tries to start things off, but Ghost able to get back out. Look at Nuggery on the right-hand side,
Hello.
and they have been corralled into this another 4-man slicing Maelstrom by Kennen. And it's just so hard, and you know, you ask yourself the question to Aphelios, how many years in this spot? Not enough. Not enough out of the Zillion Resurrection. As we look in live, DAMWON about to get yet another dragon.
Yeah, pretty straightforward from here. Turns out Syndra Bard is actually pretty good at zoning away the Lee Sin. And Rascal's greeting for just the 1 kill. I mean, that's not going to help your predicaments right now. And now another Mountain Drake to stack on top of the one they already had. We take a look at Rek'Sai, 165 armor. Didn't see his MR. That's a lot more important. But still, very tanky. The stats are coming in for all of the members of DAMWON Gaming.
Yeah. Things are looking very rough. And you can even see the resistances coming out on all of DAMWON's champions. Syndra also at 10 Darksteel stacks. A little disappointed we don't see the Soul Stealer here. But I really don't see a way back into this. The only way I can envision Gen.G somehow winning is quite literally on the back of 200 years. It's the one out. And interestingly enough, I talked about this, I believe, on the cast with Atlas. That's what's one of the things that is still exciting about Aphelios, is that, well, yes, DAMWON have complete control over this game, and it's really on them to throw it away. Aphelios still keeps it somewhat interesting in the chance that he can do the miracle.
Yeah, as, well, Canyon might just die here. He's going to go for a last-ditch ultimate effort. But meanwhile, you're sending 3 members to kill 1, as they actually will stop the inhibitor from going down, at least for now.
And the really hard thing is, how does Aphelios play this game? Syndra outranging him so far, has Scatter the Weak. Zoe can't really do anything right now because the bubbles, it's just too hard. Ezreal, Bard outranging him too. And if you do try to find a miracle approach, Bard can basically say, hold on a minute, I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, the range is a huge problem. Ruler immediately loses half his health. Yes, he can lifesteal, but he can't just join the fight, or else he's going to take a huge ultimate to the face from the Syndra, and not only from her. So just like that, Aphelios is neutralized, and they pick up the inhibitor, back away, 2 minutes away from this Mountain Soul. The DAMWON are in, they have a really tight grip on this one from here after a couple of huge Nuggery plays.
Yeah. And we just take a look. Clid gets onto Canyon. And they end up bringing him down. They run up into top. But damage, you know, honestly, I mean, that top inhibitor going down is probably beneficial for Gen.G. Top inhibitor's a weird one. It's always in close proximity to the Baron, so you're always farming it. You're always looking to try to make use of that. So it helps just funnel EXP and gold into you. Oh no.
He's going to get stunned up, and at least he's got cleanse. Otherwise, he was dead meat. That's another fun part about the Bard into the Aphelios. You can force cleanse. You can lock him down. He's definitely a great support into that champion, as DAMWON has absolutely prepared drafts for against Aphelios. It is clear. Push without Baron is not going to be as impressive. Trying to put pressure on bottom side while the top lane is being pushed so that they can be in good position here for this Mountain Drake.
Yep.
And and the Soul Sealer did get
Yeah,
purchased.
finally. It's just a really, really good item. Gives you so much value. The movement speed too. Nice stat for its cost. Mountain Soul up in 30 seconds. Rek'Sai does get tagged. Not really sure, you know, how Rek'Sai manages to dig those tunnels while falling asleep. Honestly, that's very scary. I would never want to sleep next to Rek'Sai.
Yeah. Well,
Probably a little.
to each their own.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rek'Sai is... It definitely was a pick that we discussed a bit, talking about into Aphelios, but just in general, I feel like the pick potential plus the ability to get away from Zoe and some CC is not so bad. Why are they just letting them take the mountain? Well, what is the idea here? Mountain Soul in trade for getting a Baron? I mean, they're going to take it down and immediately they can challenge here.
I'm at a little bit of a loss for words, and okay, hold on, Caitlyn.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and snipe that guy. He's gonna quickly swap over to
Syndra?
Tristana here.
Yeah. Trying to do something. It's all on Showmaker to keep them all at bay.
Yeah.
And you can see it's just, it's very hard for Ruler to approach.
And there it is. It goes to the Zoe. But down will go that Zoe. Nuguri with another great ultimate, and the entire team is, in fact, going to be wiped. They get the objective, but they will not take the game, as Life is just going to run away forever. Probably going to live with how much speed he has, but we will see the recall, but he's up against a massive push here in the top side. Not much that he can do. He'd have to try to take out the super minion, which he cannot. The game is okay. He's going on a little journey here.
Really him?
He's gonna die. Oh, minions didn't save him there. GG. As there you have it. Baited them into coming into the Baron fight, and immediately were able to turn and take him down. Nuguri, if he doesn't get player of the game here, I don't know what the other voters were looking at, as that was the funniest joke that coach has ever heard in his entire life, as he nearly almost fell over. Obviously, very, very happy after that win.
Yeah, and I mean, the cool thing about this game was we got to see Aphelios not have fun.
Yeah,
that is,
it's uncommon.
It's, you know, it's really strange how that worked. Now we're just gonna pretend this game didn't exist. Other reasons led to the loss here. Okay, so there's nothing wrong.
Now you have evidence, some more evidence.
There's a lot of games actually where Aphelios players hate their lives. You can actually find a lot of instances where pro AD carries basically say like I couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Despite playing Aphelios, and it's just so bizarre that those games are never looked at. And instead we look at the games where people draft 4 melee hard engages into him,
Yeah.
turns on Crescendum, and then, yeah,
See you later.
You really wonder what happened there.
Yeah.
It's like when you it's like something you see in solo queue. 5 people clump up against AP Malphite, they get hit by it, and they're like,
Yeah.
well,
I guess maybe people are not as used to drafting compositions to counter AD carries specifically.
it's not even countering him, it's just neutralizing him.
Yeah. But
Is-
most of the time it's like you
And
don't...
when you do it, it's a big reward.
Yeah.
So he's not actually blindable. He's blindable when you draft like a donkey. So when that ends up happening, I
True.
mean, you deserve to get punished.
Yeah.
If you draft into what he likes and he came in blind, I mean, you deserve to lose. When you draft in a way that doesn't let him play the game, you restrict the terrain he can play on, when you outrange him, you're going to have a game on your hands, and more likely than not, you're going to have an edge. And yet, we have a champion that's probably going to get nerfed due to public outcry, and it's really sad because he is an exciting champion to watch. So, unfortunate there. Nuguri doing tremendous damage, 22,200 dealt by him. Showmaker also with a immaculate performance as
Oh,
well.
yeah. From lane to the game, to the mid game, to the late game. Showmaker also did show up. If there's like 1 or 2 votes for him, I wouldn't be too sad, but absolutely this was Nuguri's game to win. Guys, we're going to take a quick break before we get to game number 3 of the series.
갈게.
야 기지로 텔 탈까? 아야
이거 빼.
니코부터.
아,
조이, 조이.
아래.
조이 야 쌈봐 쌈
리신.
야 앞에 잡았어
탑에 텔타.
이제 텔타 봐.
동자 탑에 텔타.
오케이 끝났어 야집 끊어 집
아, 지금 안 끊어도
해갈게. 너무 빠르다.
아 나이스
아 쏘리. 한번 던질 뻔했다. 아
레드에서 조용해
빠져.
까비 알론소
바비 알론소. 업가 진짜 잘해줬다.
까비 알론소
까비. 형 어디 갔나? 모르겠네. 나이스. 뭐야 잡다.
야 죽여
왜 이렇게 빨라? 그냥 스톰볼게. 와봐. 오케이 나 더블. 자식아.
야야 막타
아. 나이스.
나이스.
야 너 뭐야?